The wise say that most of the world's riches are found in the soil, and that is true because in the world, agriculture is one of the pillars of economy in most countries. Some people do it better and professionally that it raises their net worth and that of their country in general. The popular Rwandan artist, the late Rugamba Cyprien, said it better when he said, "Misuka yanjye nyibarize umuhini," which roughly means, "Find me a hoe and I will do everything else myself." The wise say that the world's riches are found in the soil, and that is true because in the world, agriculture is one of the pillars of economy in most countries. Some people do it better and professionally that it raises their net worth and that of their country in general. The popular Rwandan artist, late Rugamba Cyprien, said it better when he said, "Misuka yanjye nyibarize umuhini," which roughly means, "Find me a hoe and I will do everything else myself." Agriculture is one of the respected professions in Rwanda, and it is the backbone of our economy since around 90% of our population are farmers. In all other plants grown in different places around the world, there are two types of plants. One being plants grown on a small scale just to feed one's household, and then there is another, which is plants that are grown with the purpose of selling and which brings income to the farmers. ICYUZUZO TV as the voice of agriculture and livestock. Today we prepared a video for you about a commercial plant called mushroom. It is an extraordinary plant that has changed lives of lots of people who grew it, and I believe it can change your life if you're just finding out about it today. Except for generating income, mushrooms are medicinal and they can cure a lot of viral diseases that exist in the world. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and be able to see all of our videos that we upload regularly. Many people think that meat is the first dish that has a lot of nutrients. Mushrooms have different nutrients that are essential and in many categories, like bodybuilding category and disease preventing category. They prevent people from getting diseases caused by malnutrition. They help the stomach and intestines work better, and it boosts the body's immune system. It helps the veins not to get clogged by fats, hence better blood flow. They help the skin in maintaining the smoothness while healthy. Mushrooms are one of the plants that grow in a very short period of time. 7 to 10 days since the day you planted them, they are ready to be harvested, and you can harvest them until 3 months in different periods of time. Starting to grow them is not expensive, so they can be affordable to anyone. And what is even better is that they don't require any sophistication while planting them either. It is one of the best and somehow cheap commercial plant. Their prices are between 1,000 Rwandan francs and 2,000 Rwandan francs per kilogram. It can help women and young people create their own job, and it can be a poverty eradication solution to our country. Mushrooms are so rich in nutrients that they double the nutrients in the meat and any other food that we count on as the richest in proteins, minerals, and some vitamins like B1 and B2. As this guide from Nayeb shows, mushrooms prevent bodies from getting diseases that come from malnutrition. They help intestines and stomach work better and help in blood circulation. They don't require a big plot, and they can grow in any type of land that any person, no matter where they live, can grow them. Regarding to how they are planted, there are two ways to plant them. You can grow them indoors or outdoors. My name is, I am an agronomist. We were talking about planting mushrooms, and we had a few questions we wanted to ask. How are mushrooms viewed in our country? Mushrooms are not yet popular in Rwanda, but it is known that they are one of the plants that generate high income, and now it is getting known as one of the plants that are rich in nutrients that the body needs and can help fight against malnutrition. They are not yet as common as other plants we usually see, but now that I am sure there are farmers in each district and each sector that knows how to plant them. What do you think people think of them? Usually we see the mushrooms that grow naturally in forests. Do people still think it's the same like that? Today, people are aware that mushrooms are planted. They now know that anyone can eat them, so the mindset about how they grow in forests and are only eaten by the poor is slowly getting eradicated. What is known yet is how to plant them. We saw that there are two types of mushrooms, the one that can be planted indoors and the ones that can be planted outdoors. Can you differentiate them for us? The difference between them is the amount of the water they need, the ventilation, and the protection from direct sun rays. Farming is one of the professions that employ a lot of Rwandans, and there are a lot of programs that are put in place to help them, one of them being insurance of different plants. Does mushroom have that insurance as well? As of now, mushroom plantation doesn't have insurance yet, but then in Rwanda, insurance in agriculture is really new, so it didn't start with every plant there is. There are some we chose, and we are still encouraging farmers about it so that they can join. Those plants include maize and rice, and now those are the only ones with insurance, but we hope that we will add more as people continue to understand why it is important for their plants to have insurance. I believe one day mushrooms will be one of these plants that have insurance, especially now that we have a lot of farmers that are planting them on a large scale. Yeah, they are there, and they are doing it in a way to generate income. What about on the market? Are they selling? And tell us about where to get the designated plots that mushroom can be planted in. The market is not a problem at all. Regarding the plots to plant mushrooms in, there is one in Rwanda where RAB is stationed, and in Nyanza there is a private investor who has an industry that makes plots for mushroom plantation. Thank you so much for all this information you shared with us. As we end, can you give a message to Rwandans? Because one of the challenges you said is still the stigma around mushrooms and their plantation. What can you tell Rwandans that are listening to us? What I can tell Rwandans is to be open-minded and to change those old mindsets that do not help. Think of ideas that generate income and can even be a business, as our government is always encouraging us to create businesses. Mushrooms can be a very good business to people who can make a cooperative and grow it, and I am sure that they can get the market. Thank you very much.
bityo bigahinduka n'imishinga kuko n'ubundi kigamije nk'uko leta yacu idushishikariza no kwihangira imirimo dukora ibintu biduteza imbere. Ibihumyo rero bikaba ari ubuhinzi bushobora gufasha nk'urubyiruko n'abandi bantu bashobora kwishyiramo bagakora amakoperative bagahinga kandi babona isoko.
Some of the farmers who grow mushrooms in Gisagara district in southern province said that growing mushrooms has helped them a lot, in their development. Here is one of them. Let us take an example of 3 kilograms. I usually sell 1 kilogram on 1,500 Rwandan francs, even though there are others who sell on 2,000 Rwandan francs. And then on 3 kilograms, that is 4,500 Rwandan francs when I have only invested 500 Rwandan francs in getting a plot that they are planted on. And in 7 to 14 days, that is a lot of money. There is a type of mushrooms called anti-cancer. When you eat them, you are more likely to never get cancer in your life. And 1 kilogram of this type is 50,000 Rwandan francs. There is another one called red mushrooms. They are called red mushrooms because when you look at them, they look like they are wearing something. These ones are really fancy, and 1 kilogram of this type can be around 140,000 Rwandan francs. Growing them has made many changes in my life. It has helped me buy an egg incubator machine, and it has even bought me a plane ticket, and now I can say I am someone who has been on a plane. There are experts in nutrition that say mushroom is like hidden riches. They say this because mushrooms don't have fats. Instead, it is rich in other different nutrients. On the website of www.drbuffet.com, they talk about the importance of eating mushrooms. They have vitamin B, which is needed for the veins to work very well, and it helps the skin to stay smooth. They also are in the few plants that have vitamin D, which is needed to regulate the calcium level in the bones. It helps the bones get stronger, and it prevents them from getting a disease called osteopetrosis. In addition to that, vitamin D prevents one from getting diabetes and some types of cancers. Mushrooms have phosphorus mineral, which helps the body to feel always strong. They have a high water content that is between 80 to 90%. And that is why people who consume them can consume as much as they want without worrying about carbs. People who eat mushrooms feel like they are full always, which prevents them from snacking, and therefore they help in losing weight in a healthy way. Mushrooms have only a little content of sodium, and that is good because sodium leads to hypertension. They are naturally salty, so you don't need to add any salt at all as you're cooking them. Mushrooms are really delicious. As someone who is a professional cook, I can tell you that. I have a certificate from a university in China in culinary arts. The time I was there, I worked for a lot of certificates, one of them being culinary arts, and then another in preparing and processing mushrooms, and another in oceanography. How do they cook them? You fry them in vegetable oil until they change their original color to a brown one. They can even make a mean soup or stew that is popular in a lot of hotels, and it deserves it because it is delicious and it contains a lot of nutrients. When it is done from fresh mushrooms, not the flour that they had kept for some time, I tell you it is the best soup ever. Mushrooms boost body's immune system because they contain selenium and argothionine. These antioxidants boost the body's immune system, and they fight against diseases in the body, and they protect the cells when they get damaged. Selenium also helps to have steady heartbeats and helps it to work very well overall. According to a research made on animals, mushrooms reduce cholesterol because they contain a fiber that is capable of reducing what we call bad fats. It is known that eating fruits and vegetables have a very good effect on one's skin and hair, but with mushrooms, it is an exception. Mushrooms contain a little content of sugar, and that is why they are safe to eat for people with diabetes without worrying that it will raise their blood sugar. They contain potassium mineral and less salt content, so they help in regulating the blood flow that it stays stable. The researchers in CD of Law, they were the first to make a research about relationship between eating mushrooms and fighting against tumors that include even cancer. That research showed that mushrooms include proteins like lectin and others that are unique like glycan. These reduce the probability of getting some types of cancers. Other 3 researchers met showed that women who eat mushrooms daily reduce the probability of getting breast cancer comparing to those that don't. On the website of www.drsimo.com, they also talk about why it is important to eat mushrooms to a person's body. Mushrooms are rich in various proteins and vitamins, especially B3 especially B3 that is essential for digestion and helps veins to work well. Mushrooms contain different minerals like iron, zinc, and many others. For example, in a sample of 100 milligrams of mushroom, you can get 2 milligrams of vitamin B, 1 microgram of vitamin K, 12 to 15 micrograms of B8, 1 milligram of zinc, and 3 to 5 micrograms of selenium. They are of various types that they include those that are edible and those that are not. So when you see a mushroom that grew somewhere you don't know, refrain from touching it because some types are really deadly and can kill those who eat it. Just as you heard, mushrooms are not only an income-generating plant, it is also medicinal, that when you're eating it, you're protecting yourself from getting all those deadly diseases. What I ask of you today is to subscribe on ICYUZUZO TV's YouTube channel to continue to get these very important videos. We never go far from agriculture or livestock.